Hello, today I'll be talking about all the shows that I went to this year in 2023. Definitely many shows to talk about. I went to 14 shows this year, so yeah, definitely a lot to talk about, but let's go ahead and dive into this. Starting off with the first show that I went to this year, which was back in January 6th, if I remember correctly, if I got the exact date right, but this was at the Paramount Theater in Seattle. I took a bus ride there from Spokane to Seattle to go to the show, and it was, yeah, again at the Paramount Theater, and it was Exodus, Black Label Society, and Anthrax. I went because of Anthrax. I'm not a big Exodus fan. I'm kind of meh on them as of now, but they are a band that I am willing to give another chance to. And then I've never been a big Black Label guy. Don't mind their music. I don't think it's bad, but their music just doesn't do a whole lot for me. But again, I went for Anthrax, and I did do VIP for Anthrax too. And yeah, of course, VIP came first before the show, and basically we did get some stuff such as a poster and a signed poster and a signed set list, and also got a VIP laminate, and I also got the band to sign a couple of my CDs, my copy of For All Kings and my copy of XL. And of course I did also get a picture with the band too, but yeah, VIP for Anthrax was definitely worth it. If I remember correctly, it cost me like 135, 140 something, somewhere around there, if I remember correctly. And yeah, again, definitely worth it, especially if you love Anthrax or you're a huge fan. Definitely do VIP, definitely go all in. But yeah, moving into the show, of course, it opened up with Exodus, and I thought Exodus was cool. They're good live. I only recognized two of the songs, Bonded by Blood and Toxic Waltz, but yeah, their performance was decent. If I remember correctly, I remember during their performance, you couldn't really hear the singer very well. For whatever reason, their mic was sounded a bit too low in the mix, but for whatever reason, but either way, besides that, I thought their performance was decent. And same with Black Label Society, decent performance. The guitar playing for that band especially did catch my ear, but at the end of the day, I thought they were just decent. Didn't quite win me all the way over in terms of checking out their stuff like right after or anything like that. But again, decent performance. Then we moved to Anthrax, and it's no surprise, Anthrax was definitely awesome. I mean, definitely very energetic band live. And when it comes to where I was at the show, I was right at the front, actually, right at the front of the stage, towards the right of the stage. So I was pretty close to Scott Ian, and Joey would come over to that side too, where I was at a lot. And yeah, the show was awesome. Pretty solid set list. I believe they didn't play anything from For All Kings, which I found kind of interesting, but they did play one or two songs from worship music though. But yeah, overall, a decent set list. They did play one of the John Bush songs, or one of the songs from that era only. That was pretty cool to hear Joey sing that, and I thought he did a good job. But yeah, overall, fairly solid set list. And Anthrax, again, definitely great live. And yeah, the bus ride was definitely worth it too. It was a 5-hour bus ride, I might add, which, again, for me, worth it. But moving to the next show, this show was at the Knitting Factory, and this show is Society 1, Dope, Fear Factory, and Static X. And I did VIP for Static X, except this time VIP took place after the show. But I'll go ahead and start off with the show. So, of course, things opened up with Society 1, a band that I'm not super familiar with. I mean, before going into the show, I knew that they were industrial metal, or a mix of industrial metal, new metal, somewhere in that range of things. And I remember from what I heard before going to the show and seeing their performance, I do remember them sounding a lot like a mix between like Ministry, Nine Inch Nails, that type of thing. And when it comes to their performance, I thought they were decent enough. Of course, didn't quite win me over in terms of checking out their music right after, but for what it was, a decent performance. I do remember the singer having some kind of dildo or dick on his microphone, or not his microphone, but his microphone stand, and I found that to be interesting. But yeah, this definitely a fairly charismatic singer. I definitely do remember that. But yeah, Society 1 was all right. And then we had Dope, and Dope, I'm not a fan of Dope. I'll go ahead and throw that out there. Never been a big fan of Dope, but they have a few songs that I don't mind, that I do like, but again, never got into Dope. But I thought the performance was not bad, actually. They were fairly entertaining live, but yeah, Dope was not bad though. Then came Fear Factory, and of course with Fear Factory now they have Milo as the front man now, and I thought Milo did a pretty good job, especially on Archetype, especially, which was definitely really cool to hear live. Definitely really great song, one of my favorite songs from the band, and I thought Milo did a pretty good job. And yeah, Fear Factory overall was definitely really great live. I thought the band was tight, and the current lineup was tight. But something I didn't, well, actually I did know, but I forgot, but from what I heard, Fear Factory actually goes to their merch booth right after their performance or right after their set or whatever, and they hang up at the merch booth to take pictures with fans. And I completely forgot about that, and definitely didn't and missed that opportunity to do that, which is something I definitely regret. But at the same time, I forgot, so I mean, what can you do? But that is definitely something that definitely really sucks for me, but it is what it is. But either way, Fear Factory was awesome. Then, of course, the final band for that show was Static X, and Static X was definitely fun. It was really good set list, too, especially. I mean, they didn't play Destroyer or The Only, which I found to be kind of lame, but outside of that, again, a really good set list, a good mix of the big hits from them, and I got to hear some deep cuts, too, like Sweat of the Bud, Permanence, Structural Defect, Just In Case, and some others. And overall, I was definitely really pleased with the set list, and their mascot, or at least the mascot that they had from the Push It music video, he showed up during one of the songs, or one of the opening of the songs, if I remember correctly, and that was really cool to see. But yeah, Static X was awesome. But yeah, moving into VIP, I got a picture with the band, and I also got the band to sign my copy of Wisconsin Death Trip. I got Koichi, Ken, and Tony to sign my copy. But yeah, definitely worth doing VIP for. But let's move on to the next show. We have Enemy Mine, Drift, Body Box, and Soulfly. And this was also at the Knitting Factory. Didn't do VIP for Soulfly though, because they weren't offering VIP, unfortunately. If they were, I would have totally done it, especially because of Max Cavalera alone. But anyways, moving into the show, it opened up with Enemy Mine, which I believe is actually a local band in my area. I learned about that, I think, a little bit later, but I think they are. I could be wrong, but either way, Enemy Mine was okay. Based on their performance, it kind of looked like Dad's Night Out a little bit, not gonna lie. It kind of gave me that vibe a little bit, but kind of had that classic heavy metal type of feel to it. But they're all right, but didn't really leave much of a lasting mark on me. And then the next band was Drift. With this band, I remember them having like these costumes and these large helmets or something like that. But honestly, right now I couldn't tell you what their music sounds like. I don't remember a single thing about their music. They might have been heavy. Honestly, I don't remember much about their music, so I'll just leave it at that. But next band was Body Box. If I remember correctly, this band is like deathcore, somewhere in that range, and they were okay, but a lot of their songs kind of blended together for me. But at the end of the day, they were just okay. And then Soulfly came on, and Soulfly was definitely pretty cool to see live. I was right at the front towards the left of the stage, and yeah, Soulfly, I mean, pretty solid set list. I mean, you got to hear songs like Back to the Primitive, which was the opening song for the set, and they played Frontlines, Bleed, and some other songs. Filth Upon Filth, if I remember correctly, from their last album. But yeah, Soulfly was definitely really cool to see live. But let's go ahead and move on to the next show, and this show was at the Spokane Arena. And this was From Ashes to New, 3 Days Grace, and Shinedown, and I did VIP for 3 Days Grace. And with them, I got a picture with the band, and after everyone got their pictures, did a Q&A. And if I remember correctly, the question I asked was, what's a song in the 3 Days Grace catalog that you think is underrated? And I believe it was Brad that said No More, which is definitely really cool to hear, because I think that song is one of the best songs from Life Starts Now. But yeah, VIP for 3 Days Grace for that show is pretty cool. But moving into the show, started off with From Ashes to New, and they were pretty cool. When it comes to this band, I was a fan of them when Day One was brand new at the time, but at some point I kind of lost interest, or either I lost interest or I just completely forgot about them and just moved on to other bands and completely forgot about them. But they are a band that I might have to go back into and see what I missed. But when it comes to their performance, I thought they were actually pretty good. Then we had 3 Days of Grace, and 3 Days of Grace to No Surprise was also great. Solid set list if I remember correctly, but also same with Shinedown. And this was my second time seeing Shinedown, and Shinedown was definitely pretty good. From the merch booth, I did get a signed CD, a signed copy of their album Attention Attention. And that was definitely pretty cool to get. But yeah, Shinedown was pretty good. I was definitely happy when they played it, If You Only Knew, because I believe they didn't play that song the first time I saw them, but it was cool to see them perform that song live this time. But they didn't play Fly From the Inside, which they did play the first time I saw them, but outside of that, again, pretty good set list. But moving to the next show, we have Spirit World, Death Angel, Kreator, and Sepultura, and this was at the Showbox in Seattle, and I did VIP for Death Angel, Kreator, and Sepultura. Kreator and Sepultura did VIP together, but starting with Death Angel, doing VIP for them, their VIP came first, and they signed my VIP laminate, and I also got them to sign my copies of The Evil Divide and Humanicide. And after we got to chat with the band and get things signed and all that, eventually we moved to pictures, and then eventually they got to me and I got my picture with Death Angel. But then after VIP was over for them, we had to wait like an hour or so for VIP for Kreator and Sepultura, but eventually we got to that, and the bands were at their tables and they signed a poster, and it's that poster right there, the red one that I'm pointing at. And I also got both bands to sign the laminate that we had for that VIP package. And when it comes to Kreator, I got the band to sign my copy of Hate Uber Alice. And when it comes to Sepultura, I got a chance to have them sign my copy of Quadra. And then after all the signings, we moved to pictures, and eventually I got my picture with Kreator and Sepultura. We did it all together, and it was definitely really cool. Love both bands. And moving into the show, Spirit World, I thought was actually solid live. But I will admit, as their set went on, it felt like a lot of their songs were kind of blending together. Felt kind of samey as time went on. But when it comes to the music itself, I thought it was not bad though. And then Death Angel came on, and they were definitely really great. The disappointing thing was that they didn't play anything from Frolic Through the Park in Act 3, which I found to be kind of odd, because those are some of the fan favorites in the discography. So I was like, damn, really? But they did play Voracious Souls from the Ultraviolence, which was definitely really cool. Definitely one of my favorite songs that they played from their set. And they also did play a lot of stuff from their more modern work too. But yeah, Death Angel was pretty good. And when it came to this show, I was right at the front of the stage, actually, right at the front, towards the right of the stage. But yeah, the next band was Kreator, and Kreator was pretty good, actually. Of the three bands, Death Angel, Kreator, and Sepultura, Kreator probably had my least favorite set list. And one of the reasons why is because most of the set lists just kind of felt like stuff that they did in the past 10 years, 10 or 15 years or so, and not a lot of older stuff. But they did play Pleasure to Kill and Betrayer and People of the Light. That was definitely really cool. Those are great songs, but Kreator was definitely pretty cool live. And then the final band was Sepultura, and Sepultura was definitely awesome. With where I was at the show, I was really close to Andreas Kisser, like a few feet or so. I mean, he was really close to me. I was like, hell yes, this is awesome. Get to see him shred right in front of me on his guitar. I mean, oh, so cool. But yeah, Sepultura, a decent mix between the older stuff and their more recent stuff. They didn't play anything off of Schizophrenia or Beneath the Remains, which I found to be a tad lame though, but they did play the song Arise, they did play Territory, and I believe they also played Refuse Resist, if I remember correctly, and of course they did also play Roots Bloody Roots, and again they did play some more newer stuff, but I thought Derek Green did a pretty good job when it came to the vocals too, but yeah, Sepultura was definitely pretty fun live. Moving to the next show, and this was at the Climate Pledge Arena, also in Seattle, and this was Destroy Boys, Turnstile, and Blink-182. I went because of Blink-182. And I did not do VIP because VIP for Blink-182 I believe was a little too pricey for me, a bit much. I think it was like around $2,000, which is a big hell no for me. But opening band was Destroy Boys, and they were kind of mid, to be honest. Not terrible, but again, kind of mid. They did do a cover of Bulls on Parade, which, yeah, that didn't need to happen. But anyways, next band was Turnstile, and I thought they were decent. Didn't really leave much of a lasting impression on me, if I'm being honest, but I thought they were also decent, though, when it comes to the performance themselves, or itself. But now, of course, now moving on to the band that I went there for, Blink-182. They were definitely really great. I mean, and this was my second time seeing Blink-182. The first time was when Matt was in the band, so I definitely had to go to the show just because Tom is back in the band, the classic lineup is back, so I definitely had to go, and it was worth it, though. I mean, a good mix of the more recent stuff and the older stuff. And when it came to this show, One More Time wasn't out yet, so they only played Edging, but they did play, I want to say I want to say 2 or 3 songs from Neighborhoods. I think 2, but yeah, they did play that, and they did play 1 or 2 songs from the Matt Skiba era, and that was cool too. I do like the Matt stuff too, but of course they played a lot of classic stuff from Enema of the State, Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, Self-Titled, and some others. But yeah, Blink-182 was definitely really great live, definitely fun, energetic. I really enjoyed the banter between Tom and Mark. But yeah, Blink-182 was definitely really fun live. But next show we'll be talking about was at the First Interstate of Arts, or I can't remember the name of the venue, but it's in Spokane, and the bands were Animals as Leaders, Devin Townsend, and Dream Theater. So starting off with Animals as Leaders, this is an instrumental band, and I remember being really impressed by the drummer. And I was fairly close at the show. I believe there was only like 3 or 4 rows of people in front of me, and that was really it. So I was pretty close, but Animals as Leaders was actually pretty cool to see live. I'm not a fan. I'm not an actual fan of their music. I haven't really dug deep into their music or anything like that, so I'm not super familiar with their stuff, but they are a band that I am willing to check out, or maybe a band that I'll have to remember to look into sometime next year. But Devin Townsend was the next one, and I've never been a big Devin Townsend fan. I don't think his music's bad, but doesn't quite do a whole lot for me, not quite for me. I do like the song Love by Strappy Young Lad, though. That song definitely a banger, but when it comes to his performance, or the band's performance, it was fine, but not quite my thing, but not bad, though. It was decent for what it was, but of course something I can respect, though. But then of course it was Dream Theater right after that, and Dream Theater was pretty cool. They didn't play a lot of stuff from Images and Words or Awake. They did play like 1 or 2 songs from each album of those 2, and well, let's see. They played Caught in a Web and Pull Me Under. Actually, that might have been it. I could be wrong, but I think that was it, though. But they did play some other stuff, of course, like Sleeping Giant and some others from their more recent stuff. But Dream Theater was definitely really cool to see live. Especially to see John Petrucci shred alone. He's a hell of a guitar player, and then seeing him shred in person was definitely really awesome. And James LaBrie, there were a few times where you could tell he was struggling a little bit, but yeah, at the same time you can tell he was still trying at least. But Dream Theater, pretty good live, I'd say. Definitely worth it. The next show, and this was at the Pavilion, or the Riverfront Pavilion. I can't remember the exact name, but either way, the bands were Paris Jackson, Bad Flower, and Incubus. So yeah, starting off with Paris Jackson, not super familiar with her, but I thought her music was decent though. Didn't quite win me over in terms of wanting me to check out more of her stuff, but the performance was cool. She did do a cover of No Rain by Blind Melon, which I really don't like the original. I really don't like the original, but I thought their cover was actually not bad though. But the next band was Bad Flower, which I believe is more of an emo rock type of band, and they're easily the worst band of that show. Not quite for me. Not the most painful thing that I've sit through or anything, but not quite my thing. Then came Incubus, and honestly, I was really impressed with the set list. It would have been cool to hear more stuff from Science, but outside of that, I was really happy with the set list. It was cool to hear songs like Pardon Me, Six Sad Little World, Dig, Glass, and some others, but Incubus was definitely really awesome. Really cool to see live. Definitely worth it. Then the next show, and this show was at the Penn Oriole Pavilion, or Northern Quest. I'll just say Northern Quest because it's basically at Northern Quest. But this was Loathe, 3 Days Grace, and Chevelle. I went because of 3 Days Grace, and I did do VIP for them this time again. So this is my second time, and this time I had them sign the laminate that was for the VIP package, and I also did get a picture with the band too. And after pictures and signings, we did do a Q&A, and my question was I had each member answer what their favorite Deftones album was, since that they're one of my favorite bands. And I believe Matt and Brad said White Pony, and Neil said Around the Fur, and Barry didn't really have an answer. He just said, yep. But either way, excuse me, 3 Days Grace, VIP again, definitely worth it. But yeah, when it comes to the show, Loathe is not a band that I'm super familiar with, but after their performance, I thought their music was decent. I might check them out sometime. And then 3 Days Grace was definitely really great. It was definitely really cold though, and it started raining, and that's a part of the reason why I didn't stay for Chevelle. So yeah, I left right after 3 Days Grace, didn't stay for Chevelle. One of the reasons is because, well, there's two reasons. One of the reasons is because I tried to get into Chevelle, and they didn't quite do much for me. I like a few Chevelle songs. They have a few songs I like, but I never could get heavily into them. But that was one of the reasons. But the second reason was because I was freezing. It was raining. And I was like, all right, I'm ready to head back home because I am freaking freezing. Because for whatever reason, I thought it was going to be inside instead of outside. Because the previous times I've been to this venue, it was usually inside. But it is what it is, though. But 3 Days Grace was definitely really cool. The next show is also at Northern Quest, and there's only one band, and the band was live, and they were also pretty good. Didn't get anything from the merch booth though, but yeah, pretty solid set list. The only song that I wish they would have played was Where Fishes Go, but that was really it though. Outside of that, it was actually a pretty good set list. I mean, Selling the Drama, Lakini's Juice, Dolphins Cry. They played a lot of great songs, and Pain Lies on the Riverside. But live was pretty good. But the next show is also at Northern Quest, and it was for The Cult. And The Cult was also another band that I enjoyed seeing live. When it comes to them, I got this bag that was signed. It had a guitar string and a sticker and a guitar pick inside, and it was signed by Billy Duffy, their guitar player. But yeah, The Cult was pretty good. Solid set list too. It was cool to hear them play Rise, Sweet Soul Sister, Sun King, She Sold Sanctuary, Rain, and many other songs. They even played a few deep cuts, King Contrary Man and Peace Dog. That was really cool. Really enjoyed those songs. Some of my favorites from Electric. But yeah, The Cult was definitely pretty good live. But the next show, we have Royal Thunder and Alice in Chains, and this was at the Podium. And Royal Thunder, I thought was fine, but I didn't find the music itself, to be all that remarkable. Nothing that really left much of a lasting impression on me, but their music was decent though. And then we have Alice in Chains, which was they were really fun live and definitely the most squeezed I ever got at a show, because I was on the floor and I definitely got squeezed a lot, but it was definitely worth it because I was really close to the front. There were times where there was one row of people in front of me and times where I was right at the front, again, because of being pushed constantly. But Alice in Chains was pretty good, and I thought William Duvall did a good job with the vocals. And there were times where he was close or Jerry was close too. But yeah, Alice in Chains was definitely really great live. Next show is at the Spokane Arena, and it is Steel Beans and Tool. Steel Beans is a one-man band. He was playing drums, guitar, and doing vocals all at the same time. The music itself I thought was just okay, but the performance itself was definitely cool to see. And I mean, it's something that you've never seen before, so definitely do get points for that. But of course, then moving on to the band that I came for, Tool, that's definitely a unique experience for sure, especially when it comes to the visuals that they were playing on like those panels or walls or whatever you want to call them. But of course, for most of the show, you can't use your cell phones, but until the last song. And Tool is definitely really cool. I did get one thing from the merch booth though, and it was this Tool coin right here. And those coins are numbered, but yeah, definitely really cool. Tool is really cool to see live. They didn't play anything off of Anima, which I found to be kind of a tad lame, but oh well. When it comes to Undertow, they only played Swamp Song. I was like, wow, really? You didn't play Sober or Prison Sex? But it is what it is. Most of the set was really their stuff from like 10,000 Days or Fear Inoculum, and they might have played something from Lateralis. I can't remember though, but either way, Tool was definitely really great live. Definitely a unique show experience or concert experience, I'd say. And then moving to the next show, this was also at the Podium, and this was Saint Asonia, Theory of a Dead Man, and Skillet. I only came for Saint Asonia. I left right after them. Didn't stay for Theory of a Dead Man or Skillet because I think those bands are poo-poo. Just my opinion though, but I did VIP for Saint Asonia. Got a picture with the band, and I also got the whole band to sign my copy of Introvert/Extrovert. And I also got Adam to sign all my 3 Days Grace stuff. So yeah, this CD sampler for the self-titled, 1X, Life Starts Now, and Transit of Venus. But yeah, VIP for them was pretty cool, and especially to meet Adam Gontier, since I've been a fan of the guy for over a decade or so. I mean, it was definitely really cool to finally get to meet the guy and say what I needed to say to him and all that. But moving into the show, again, I only stayed for Saint Asonia, and they were pretty good. They didn't play anything off of Flaw Design, which was, I'll admit, I was disappointed in that aspect of the show, but that was really it though. When it comes to everything else, I was definitely pleased. They played Let Me Live My Life, Above It All, which are some of my favorite songs from the band. So again, when it came to their set, it was definitely pretty cool. And they did play a couple 3 Days Grace songs, Never Too Late, and I Hate Everything About You. But yeah, Saint Asonia was definitely great, and Adam, to no surprise, sounded great too. Now for the final show, this was at the Fox Theater, and this was Eva Under Fire, Bad Wolves, and Bush. Did VIP for Bush. I got a picture with the band, and also got a signed vinyl, signed poster, and a laminate. And I also got Gavin to sign my copy of 16 Stone. But yeah, moving into the show, opened up with Eva Under Fire. Not super familiar with them. I thought they were just all right. Didn't quite blow me away, but they were all right. Then there was Bad Wolves, which I was kind of dreading a little bit because I've never been a big fan of their music, but when it came to their performance, it was actually not bad. Better than I thought. I know that's a different singer now from when they were first coming out with Zombie and all that, but overall they were decent. I mean, of course, I'm probably never going to become a fan of their music, but when it comes to their performance at the show, I thought they were actually not bad. And then moving into Bush, honestly, I'd say maybe a perfect set list. I didn't really have any issues with their set list at all. There weren't really any songs that I was thinking, oh, they missed this or that song. But I didn't really think of that at all throughout the whole thing. I mean, again, pretty good set list. They opened up with Everything Zen, and then went into Machine Head after that. But yeah, a good mix of the older stuff and the newer stuff with their set list. It was cool to hear Flowers on a Grave and More Than Machines. There were a few times where Gavin went into the crowd. One of those times he was actually close to me. He went in the row behind me, and I tried to give him a fist bump, but instead he did this instead. But either way, really cool. Bush was fun live, but yeah, those are all the shows that I have been to this year. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you went to any of these tours or shows or anything like that. Let me know what shows you went to this year and all that good stuff. But anyways, thanks for watching. Please leave a comment, say a like, subscribe. Have a nice day, and take care.